You know, innovation is a funny thing. In this modern age, game developers are often blasted by critics for their refusal to develop new, innovative ideas instead of continuously pumping out mass-produced, soulless experiences designed to do one thing: convince as many people as possible to spend as much money as possible on a product. Nosgoth proves to be an interesting beast in that it kind of flies in the face of typical convention on how we judge innovation. What's up, guys? This is Zach with Attack Gaming, bringing you a first impressions video for Nosgoth, a team-based third-person shooter published by Square Enix and developed by Psyonix, a company specializing in outsourcing talent to work on multiplayer modes for games based out of the Unreal Engine. As the name might suggest, Nosgoth takes place in the famed Legacy of Kain universe. This is both the source of heightened interest and disgusted contempt, hence the rather interesting predicament Psyonix and Square Enix have found themselves in with this title. In a genre positively inundated with massive amounts of multiplayer everything, do we really need yet another cash-chopped infused multiplayer shooter? Likewise, there hasn't been a legitimate sequel to Legacy of Kain since Defiant, and even that game was so far removed from the traditional titles in the series that some would argue it doesn't even belong as a part of the series. The decision to take a series known for its emphasis on exploration and story and turn it into yet another multiplayer shooter rightfully sets off alarms in the head of many jaded gamers, but let's think about that for a moment. Innovation is defined by creativity and a willingness to take risks with no guaranteed payoff. I think it's safe to say that morphing a third-person adventure title into a multiplayer shooter is a pretty huge risk, and when you actually judge the game on its own merits, it's pretty awesome. Unlike generic modern military shooters like Call of Duty or Battlefield, Nosgoth pits humans versus vampires in a battle for utter survival. Oh, sure, you say, tons of games offer multiple factions. Well, there's huge variety in how the two factions play and also the various classes within each faction, as different classes excel at different things, so the game tends to remain fresh. Some classes are good at AoE damage, others excel at single target, and some specialize in crowd control. Some of the vampires are elusive and can jump long distances. Others are huge tanks which can bulldoze through enemies. Others still are demon-like creatures which can fly in the air, snatching up humans and dropping them to the ground for massive damage. The game is asymmetrically balanced, which is basically a fancy way of saying that there isn't parity between the humans and vampires. The vampires are ridiculously overpowered, at least you feel that way when you first start playing, featuring the ability to run and jump across rooftops a la Assassin's Creed and the ability to pounce on enemies from insane distances. Vampires are a force to be reckoned with and tons of fun to play. Playing a human in many ways turns the game into survival horror, as you're just trying to survive, keeping the score as close as possible until it's your turn to play as the vampires. While vampires can scatter across the map and often succeed at taking out multiple enemies at once, humans are forced to band together, sticking close to shrines which grant ammo and health, attempting to fend off as many waves of vampires as possible before finally becoming overpowered or finally using up the shrine and having to travel to the next one. The individual classes in the game can be kitted out with various weapons, abilities, and perks. Each character can possess 3 abilities which function like special attacks in an MMO that are bound to various hotkeys. Perks are added bonuses like increased speed or increased health that last for a game or a round. The variation in play across each faction, as well as the various ways in which you can min-max the individual classes, leads to tons of theory crafting and lends itself well to maximizing teamwork through strategies tailored for the strengths and weaknesses of each class. There are essentially 2 game modes available, Team Deathmatch and Siege. Team Deathmatch is your standard 4v4 battle to the death. Keeping things fair, both sides receive the opportunity to play as both factions, meaning you spend 1 round as a vampire and 1 round as a human. The winning team has the most kills at the end of both rounds. Siege mode is available after level 10 and offers a different set of objectives for each faction. Humans must capture and hold various strategic objectives scattered throughout the map, while vampires earn points for killing humans and preventing them from capturing objectives. Like I mentioned previously, the game does have a cash shop, although I wouldn't classify it as pay to win. While it's true that you can spend real money to purchase items, you can also do so with cash earned in-game, where you can rent special abilities or rent weapons for up to a week. Some items, like additional classes, can't be purchased with in-game currency, but can be unlocked via artifact tokens, which you receive every 5 levels. Graphically, the game is beautiful. While it's not technically as advanced as Killzone or Destiny, the art direction is excellent. All in all though, after singing the game's praises, it's not all roses and sunshine, as you can't escape the fact that while this is a very fun game, it just wasn't the game that Legacy of Kain fans wanted. And I'm not sure the game has enough mainstream appeal to warrant that much of a player base. Yes, I realize the game is still in beta, but it can be hard to find a match where oftentimes you spend quite a while doing this, and not enough time doing this. Still, I urge you to check the game out if you find a beta key or if you're willing to spend money on a Founders Pack through Steam. It's an excellent multiplayer shooter whose innovation breaks the mold for what a multiplayer shooter should be. This game is really an object lesson in how sometimes even if a game developer cranks out a title that absolutely no one saw coming, the idea of actually making a game that people want to play can't be ignored. You know what though? Having never been a Legacy of Kain fan, the game does draw me into the game world and makes me want to learn a bit more about it. After playing it, I feel compelled to check out some of the older games in the series. That has to count for something, right? If you want to learn more about the game, check out its official website at nosgoth.com or give it a search through Steam. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe for more First Impressions videos, gaming news, and giveaways.